Ike, your guess is as good as mine. What is that dog about? Maybe we'll talk about it more later, but right now we got a 10-round heavyweight bout. Ike Ibeabuchi trying to run his unbeaten streak up to 14 wins. Calvin Jones trying to stop it and get his 21st win. Jones got 12 knockouts in his 20 wins. Ike 11 big KOs and 2 very strong punchers. Referee Robert Byrd right now over at Calvin Jones. We take a look at the president making his way to the ring. As Bob Spagnola mentioned, he's trained by former welterweight champion of the world, Curtis Cokes. Ike now residing in Dallas, Texas. Very happy down there, wants to be billed as being out of Dallas, Texas. Referee Robert Byrd joking with Ike. Well-known referee out here in California. Ibeabuchi 11 big knockouts. His last fight was just December 5th. Took out Rodney Blount in 3 rounds. Taking a look there at Calvin Jones. He's out of Cleveland. His last fight was this past December, winning a 10-round decision over Jerome Jackson. He had 3 starts in '96, won 2 out of 3. Getting stopped, though, by Rocky Papelli in 7. Not a great endorsement. Now we're going to go up to our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr., with our official introductions. Take it away, Jimmy.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you, and we welcome you to the beautiful Beverly Regent Wilshire Hotel here in Beverly Hills, California, as we have a big night of action coming your way. The Heavyweight Explosion, brought to you by Willie Galt Promotions and the Doberman in association with Cedric Kushner Promotions. This bout is sponsored, and all of bouts are sponsored by La Cerveza Más Fina Corona Beer. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we present one of our featured attractions of the evening, 10 rounds of boxing, of course, with the big boys in action, heavyweights. Our referee in charge of this bout, he'll be giving instructions after the introductions, Robert Byrd. Introducing to you first on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, entering the ring wearing red trunks with white trim, joining us from Cincinnati, Ohio. He weighed in at 280 pounds. His record includes 20 wins, 14 losses, with 12 of his wins coming by way of knockout. Introducing Calvin Concrete Jones. And his opponent across the ring on my right, fighting out of the red corner in this 10-round co-featured attraction, wearing black trunks with multicolored trim, originally from Nigeria, now fighting out of his home of Dallas, Texas. He weighed in at 236 pounds. His undefeated record stands at 13 wins, no losses, 11 of his wins coming by way of knockout. Welcome the fighter known as Ike, the President Ibeabuchi. And once again, Robert Byrd, our referee in charge, now to give instructions.
Hey, gentlemen, I give you instructions in the dressing room. The only thing I'm going to tell you now, when I tell you stop whatever you're doing. I tell you break, and break clean. Protect yourselves at all times. Obey my commands at all times. Let's do it.
All right, and here's the matchup tonight. 280 pounds for Calvin Jones. Almost a 50-pound weight advantage. He's got 4 inches in height over Ike, 7 inches in reach, but he is 11 years older. See if he can use any of that to his advantage. Kevin, extra 50 pounds to schlep around the ring. It's almost like fighting another third of a person.
Well, he's walking around with a barrel on his back. Now he's got to tote it around. And we'll see what kind of fighter Ibeabuchi is. Ibeabuchi looks like a good puncher. He looks in shape, looks in condition. Like he hits very hard.
Ike's got hitting hard as an understatement. He's got 11 knockouts in his 13 wins. First came into prominence on Explosion by knocking out Greg Chocolate Pickram in 3 rounds back in September of '95. It's been the distance only twice. Back in November, Anthony Wade managed to go 8 rounds with him, and then in his second pro fight, Calvin Lampkin hung in there for 4 rounds. Other than that, everybody's been dropped. Calvin Jones, not a great chin. He's been stopped 12 times, but by the likes of people like Tony Tucker, Lennox Lewis, Andrew Galata, some of the bigger names in the heavyweight division, and be a nice name to add for Ibeabuchi to his resume. On the other hand, Jones has a 2-bout winning streak going, winning 2 fights in '96.
Well, does that term stand clear? The bigger they are, the harder they fall. We don't know. Jones right now is getting hit with some good punches, good hooks by Ike, and Ike is letting him go. I'll tell you, letting him fly. is building up his confidence. He's got a guy in there that's bigger, that's taller, has a longer reach, and he's taking it to him. So I'm expecting an excitement from this Ike.
We're scheduled for 10. Ibeabuchi's never been 10 though before. Most he's ever been is 8 rounds, and that was this past November. Calvin Jones been the 10-round distance twice in his professional career.
One thing Ike is showing me right now is he's showing that he's very patient. He's not going in for the kill like always. He's working for the knockout. And that's very important in boxing, knowing how to work to build the knockout. Just going in when you're a big puncher, just knock everybody out, feels okay. Sometimes you need the work.
Even back when we saw him for the first time in Explosion, when he knocked out Greg Pickram, showed a lot of poise that day. He'll hurt a fighter. He's a very good finisher, but he doesn't go crazy. Sits down on his punches very well for a fighter that only started his pro career back in October of '94.
Well, the one thing I see in Jones that he's big, and Ike has to point through the armor. When you got a man that big, you got to punch and slow him down. And right now, I think that's what Ibeabuchi is doing. He's trying to punch through that armor so they can wear him down.
Under a minute to go in round number 1. And Ibeabuchi's already got Jones going into a shell. Ibeabuchi's in the black shorts. Calvin Jones is in the red.
One thing I see on Ike is that he's very defensive. He knows how to slip punches. There he goes, a great slip again. Ike slips nicely and comes back and counters and makes him pay for his mistakes.
Well, he's going to need that when the other man's got over a 6-inch reach advantage, too. He's got to be able to get underneath those punches and come inside.
Well, he's got one feature that he needs because he is very short for a heavyweight. So he's got to come in and strong and know how to slip and counter. And that's what he's doing.
Just about 10 seconds to go here in round number 1. Very good round for undefeated Ibeabuchi. Champion of the world, now training Ike the President Ibeabuchi. I remember watching Curtis and the patience that Curtis showed in the ring when he was fighting, and he's been able to translate it from, even though he was a welterweight, up to heavyweight. If we take a look at action here from round number 1, Ike goes to the body beautifully, but still comes upstairs, doesn't get crazy, and returns with the jab.
But one thing he has is patience, like I said, he's a great contender. Oh, he's showing some championship quality.
Round number 2. Scheduled for 10. Ibeabuchi's in the black shorts, Calvin Jones in the red shorts with white stripe. No knockdowns thus far in the fight. Good first round for Ike, Kevin. You know, we mentioned in between, it's not just about patience. He shows a lot of the moves. He slips nicely, goes to the body, and then come upstairs and throw a jab.
But one thing that he does have, he's out jabbing all the time. And that's the one thing that a fighter this size needs.
Oh, and if you're Jones, you don't want to throw an uppercut though from 3 feet out like that, do you?
Jones makes a lot of mistakes, and Ike has to capitalize those mistakes fast and quick. Very fast. Like I said, compact heavyweight is very dangerous, and that's what Ike is. He's very compact. Has a very good jab. He's stepping in. He's pacing himself. Oh, he hurt him. He hurt Jones. Jones is hurt.
Goes down. Comes over the top with a 2-punch combination, and down goes Jones. Referee Robert Byrne. Trying to get some feeling back into his arms. Robert Byrne calling for a timeout here. I'm not exactly sure why. The doctor's in the ring now examining Calvin Jones. I can't really tell what's going on.
heavyweight's got to win.
Still almost a minute to go here in round number 2. 3 knockdown rule in effect. Jones comes back with a nice left hook of himself. Ibeabuchi's got to watch it. Jones has 12 knockouts in his 20 wins. Another left hook dropped in there by Calvin Jones. Fighting back nicely, but he's been dropped here twice so far in round number 2.
Well, the one thing that you got to watch out for is always if you get caught at any time. So Ike is very patient. He's showing me a lot of championship.
30 seconds, Calvin. 30
I like the way he punches. I like the way he jabs. I like the way he attacks. He's a great finisher. You can see it here.
Nice right hand lead. Jones coming up, and that's it. Robert Byrd seating up. Ibeabuchi with his 12th knockout and 14 wins. He's undefeated. Calvin Jones going to drop down to 20 and 15. It's the 13th time he's been stopped in his career. And you've got to be impressed with what we've seen thus far, Kevin, of Ibeabuchi. Calvin Jones is a measuring stick. When you take a look at the different fighters in the heavyweight division that have stopped Calvin Jones, Tony Tucker, he went 5 rounds. Both coaches skipped him with 8 rounds with Lennox Lewis stopped him in 1. And Andrew Galata, 2 rounds. France Boca stopped him in 2. So you take a look at him, one point in time, Ibeabuchi has stopped him in round 1. They 2-round knockout for Calvin Jones. It's a good measuring stick.
Janet breaks for him. He's got a lot of guys. Rocky Papelli.
Well, let's put his chin up. Papelli stopped him. He probably doesn't have a great chin. But take a look at action here. Round number 2. Great work. Ike went downstairs, upstairs. Very good body puncher for this point in time in his career. But he doesn't, he's a one-dimensional fighter. And as you mentioned, short for a heavyweight, needs to make the moves. And we're going to go up to our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon, with the official time of the knockout. Take it away, Jimmy.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 2 minutes, 39 seconds of round number 2. Our referee in charge, Robert Byrd, stops the contest. He's the winner by way of knockout. He is still undefeated. Ike, the President Ibeabuchi.
All right, Ike improves to 14-0, 12 knockouts.
And ladies and gentlemen, have a hand for a fine effort here tonight.
Dropping Calvin Jones 3 times in round number 2. Robert Byrd stopping the fight. Take a look at Jones there. Still seems in pain. He seemed in pain after the first knockdown. His record drops to 20 wins, 15 losses. That's the 13th time he's been stopped in his career. I know that we've got our Bab Spagnola up in the ring with Ike and his trainer Curtis Cokes. We'll get a little bit of an idea on where they're going to go from here and what kind of movement they're going to make throughout 1997. And I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of Ike on the explosion. But now we're going to go up to our Bob Spagnola with Ike, the President Ibeabuchi.
I'm here with Team Ibeabuchi here. How do you feel? Like, very nice performance.
Thank God, you know. Thank God. Me and God, we made an agreement. He said he's going to give me the victory, and I'm going to give him the glory. So take glory to Father, take glory to Son, and take glory to Holy Spirit. It's never by my power. And I want to use this opportunity to thank my pastor in Lakewood Assemblies of God and the members who have been interceding for me. Hey, you're seeing the next episode of the world.
No, hey, listen, excellent. I just have to say it, you know, seeing you here with Curtis and Jay Wilson, patience, that was the thing. You were in with a much taller man. I had the reach on you, had you 50 pounds in weight. You went in there, you matched jabs with him. You've really been working on your jab, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's a legend. As you see him, you have people, you don't give him the recognition he deserves. He's a legend here, and that's why I'm gonna stick by him to my boxing career. I mean, he's just like a father to me. So, I mean, I'm just listening to Curtis and Jay, whatever they tell me in the gym, that's what I'm gonna do. You are seeing it, you are the one talking about it. You see the improvement.
No, it really was. You know, Calvin Jones, his sparring partner from Mike Tyson, came in talking about, hey, he's seen big punchers before, and he's going to get you out in that deep water. And what do you think, Curtis? How would you grade him for this?
Well, that was a good fight for Ike because the guy was a big guy, tall guy with a good left hand. Ike took his jab away from him. He went to the body. He made the guy drop his hand through the hooks. He did what we wanted him to do. I think it's a step up for him. We're ready to start moving up and make some noise.
No, but he really did show good patience. The guy had death on that left hook when he was throwing it out of there, and he was getting it under very well.
Well, we worked on that in the gym. Ike is a good defensive fighter. He's an all-around good fighter right now, and that's what's going to make him a world champion because he can box, he can slug, he can do everything now.
Yeah, people are just hearing about him, but I think they're going to hear an awful lot about him before he's done. Congratulations, fellas.
Mr. President.
Thank you, Bob. Back to you, Artie.
Thank you, Bob. You know, Kevin, it's interesting. One word kept coming out of our mouth during the 2 rounds, and one word kept coming out of Bob Spagnola's mouth during the interview, and it's patience. And that's something that you look at, and a young fighter that has that sort of poise, it makes working with him, I have to imagine for Curtis Coates, he must be having a ball working with a fighter like Ike. He listens, he sits down on his punches, he turns over, he goes